Gyroids, little clay figurines that dance when you get close to them in the animal world. In Japanese culture, buried with the dead and used as a symbol of death. Legend has it, in the animal world, if you don't save before you go to bed, you'll wake up with the face of a gyroid. That's why the mole, Rossetti, has been ever strict when it comes to saving. In a town nestled in a forest where anthropomorphic animals could walk around and talk, there were two residents that stood out from the rest of the citizens of this small town. Coco, a brown rabbit, and Nindri, a brown ostrich. Coco was a beautiful bunny who had blue eyes and a tuft of hair on the top of her head. Nindri was a pathetic-looking ostrich with little hairs poking out of his head hair. Coco and Nindri were the best of friends and always had the time to hang out. The other residents of this town were extremely jealous of their great friendship. If one of the duo went on a trip or vacation, the other would surely send the other a letter. They had a bond that most definitely couldn't be broken. However, a time came when Nindri never replied to his letters. He never answered a knock on his door, and Coco became worried. She went to his house about a week after him not answering any of his letters, and went to open his door. The lights were shut off, and there was no furniture left in the house. The wallpaper was torn, and the floorboards were being pushed up. Coco heard gurgling in the corner of the room and saw a small brown gurgloid. She walked over to the clay figurine and it began to move faster as the rabbit approached it. She reached her paw out to touch the figurine, but the gurgling became louder. The door slammed shut, and not having found her friend, she ran out of the house, abandoning it. A few days later, Nindri's house was torn down. Coco was there for the destruction. She had never felt such sadness like that day. She didn't understand why Nindri would move away. They had such a good friendship, and they promised each other they'd tell each other if they ever moved. Most of the other residents had lost interest in this town, and decided to move as well. Others moved in, but Coco wanted to start anew. Begin a new life in a new town, and possibly have a better friendship than with Nindori. She politely told Officer Booker and Officer Copper that she would be moving, and a farewell party was given to the rabbit. All of the new residents came to it, not knowing much about Coco. Tom Nook, his nephews, Pelly and Phyllis, even Tortimer. They all came to say their farewells and give Coco best wishes. The train ride was a long one, but she eventually made it to a town settled on Venezuela. When she arrived, the fresh smell of the ocean hit her nose. It definitely felt like she would be starting over here. She was welcomed by the monkey who ran the train station, Porter. She walked through the gates and into the town of Hoenn. There she was welcomed by the mayor, his assistant Isabel, Pudge, Deidre, Margie, Lyman, Cookie, Rodeo, and Whitney. From all of us here in Hoenn, Isabel started up. Welcome! Everyone shouted out. Everyone made Coco feel so welcomed in this new town. She didn't even know any of them, and they went through all this trouble to welcome her. Isabel went back to her duties at the town hall, and the mayor led Coco to her new home. This is where you'll be staying. Hope you like your new home, the mayor exclaimed. Coco nodded and thanked the mayor over and over, and before going she asked him for his name. Oh, my name is Logan. Pleased to meet you. Enjoy your time in Hoenn. Coco helped herself inside, and within a few days she was totally unpacked. She had arrived in the middle of the fall months, so Halloween would be coming up soon. Everyone readied their costumes and waited for the night when Jack would come by. Weeks passed, and it soon had become quite cold, even if it was only October. The eve before Halloween, Coco was alone at her house on that blustery night. One passed by her house and howled loudly against her shingles. There was a knocking at her door, and she rushed over. It was the mayor. She let Logan inside. Hello, Mr. Mayor. What are you doing out so late? Coco asked. I came to ask you something. Oh, what's that? Would you like to come to the roost with me for a cup of coffee? It's on me tonight. Coco blushed. You mean, like a date? Logan turned red. Well, sort of. See, you're new here and all, and thought you'd like to get out of your house for a bit. Cannot talk today. Coco smiled. Sure, Logan, let me just get ready. Come in and take a seat. I won't be long. Within a few minutes, Coco was ready. She wore a warm sweater and a black scarf around her neck. The duo continued off to the roost. When they came inside, leaves scattered all across the floor. Brewster looked up and glanced the mayor's way. Logan led Coco to the counter and made sure she seated. The regular, Brewster. And Coco, what would you like? Don't worry about the cost. I'm paying. Oh, Okay, Mr. Brewster, do you have French vanilla cappuccinos here? I sure do. I'll get that for you, too. Brewster turned to get the drinks ready, and Logan and Coco continued to chit-chat. So, is this your first time on your own? Logan asked. No, I lived in another town before this. I moved after things got boring around. Coco didn't want to mention Ender yet. Here you go. Drink up before it cools, Brewster said. Thank you, the duo replied. After the drink, Logan and Coco made their way outside. Do you need an escort home? Logan asked. No, I'll be fine. Thank you, though, Coco said with a smile. Don't get hurt now, Logan said, planting a small kiss on Coco's head. Logan stepped back and walked away. Coco was speechless, and she turned to walk to her house. She made her way back to her home and kept thinking about the way Logan was treating her. He said she was new and that he liked to treat her. Maybe he does this with every new villager. But what was with the kiss? He surely doesn't do that with the male villagers. She made it back home and proceeded to unlock her door. Coco? Coco's ears twitched and she turned, but saw no one. Hello? She called out. No answer. That's strange. I thought I heard my name. He finally unlocked her door, and as she walked inside, clouds passed over the moon, making her house pitch black. Since the house was a bit new, she had a little trouble finding the light switch. Coco? The voice was a little clearer, and it came from inside her house. She became a little jumpy. Hello? Who's there? She found the light and flickered it on. No one was in her house. She gulped and looked out the window. No one was outside either. Only the lights of a distant house were on. I think my mind is just playing tricks on me. Tomorrow is Halloween after all. I'm probably just excited is all. She turned and saw something that spooked her. Sitting in the corner of her house was a brown gurgloid. Her eyes widened. What the hell is that doing there? She asked herself. Coco? Sorry. The brown rabbit's heart started racing. The voice was becoming clearer now, and it sounded like her old friend, Nundari. It came from the direction of the gyroid. She moved closer to it, and as she got closer, the gurgling became louder. Coco. Save. Coco became terrified at that point. She went to reach for the gyroid, but it suddenly disappeared as she came into contact with it. I'm just tired. It is kind of late. Without much thought, Coco went to bed, setting aside those creepy feelings that lurked in her mind. Next morning it was cloudy. The sun usually shone through and woke Coco up. She stretched and felt her jaw fixated. Maybe had fallen asleep or become numb. She walked into her bathroom and looked in the mirror. What she saw horrified her even more than last night's events. Her face was no longer cute and fluffy, but felt like clay. Her eyes were now hollow and black, and her mouth no longer closed. She had the face of a gyroid. She backed away from the mirror, terrified out of her wits. She tried pulling the face off of her own face, but it was stuck. I don't understand. What happened to my face? She figured that maybe the animals were playing a cruel joke on her. Maybe they glued something to her face and she just can't get it off. She walked outside and saw her neighbor Margie. She smiled and walked over to Margie. Very funny, Margie. Who's in with this? Coco yelled. Margie cocked her head and looked over at Coco and saw the gyroid face. She seemed confused at first and started laughing. Such a cute costume you have, Coco. I've never thought of being a gyroid. How unique. Wait, you mean you didn't glue this to my face? No, why would I? Well, I don't... Never mind. Sorry guys, I'm gonna be right back. Okay guys, sorry I'm back. Mom wanted me for something. I'm gonna get back to reading now. Well, I don't... Never mind. Coco walked around with her new facial expression and saw Logan walking out of the town hall. Logan! She yelled. Logan glanced over and saw Coco with a gyroid face. Coco, what's wrong with your face? He asked. I don't... Oh, it's your Halloween costume, right? No, I never thought of going as a gyroid. That's pretty cool, but why are you wearing your mask right now? Logan reached for the mask and reached inside the hollowness of her eyes. Coco screeched as his fingernails poked the blackness of her eye. Logan backed away. Sorry, did I poke your... Logan's eyes widened. Widened. Coco looked up and stared at Logan. Her eyes seemed curved now, and she was crying blood. What the hell are you? He asked. It's me, Coco. Somehow this happened to me. And you just poked me in the eye. So stay away from me. Logan took off running in the opposite direction. Logan! Coco whispered. Whispered. Hold on. let me say that in a lower voice. Logan? Coco whispered. She went to rub her face and on her furry paw she saw blood. She felt her other eye welling up with tears and rubbed that eye. It wasn't tears, though. It was blood. No one saw Coco for the rest of the day, and now it was time for Jack to arrive in Helen. The caped, pumpkin-headed mystery animal slipped into the town, ready to trick the residents. Everyone was having such a good time, but Coco never emerged from her house. Everyone, even Logan, became worried. They all met up at her house and glanced inside. The house was pitch black, and you couldn't see anything. I can't see anything, Pudge whispered. Logan, maybe you should take a look, Daedry asked. Logan nodded and moved towards the window, glancing in. His eyes moved across the room, and in the corner where the moonlight hit, he saw a bunny sitting down, crying. Coco? He ran inside and saw her sitting there. Logan. He bent down next to her. What's wrong with you? Please tell me. I did a bad thing. What? Someone gave me a wrong look. Coco pulled out of the darkness of her room a wet knife. Logan backed away. Oh my god. Am I so cute? I don't want to be ugly, Logan. Tell me the truth. Am I pretty? Logan glanced down at the paw holding the knife and back at the gyroid face which was crying. He smiled and shakily grabbed her paw that was holding the knife, taking her paw in his hand. Yes, Coco, you're very pretty. Coco stared blankly at him. You're not kidding? No, gyroid face or not, you're a very pretty rabbit. Still staring at him blankly, she pushed the knife aside, stood up with Logan and gave him a hug. Thank you, Logan. Don't tell the others, okay? I promise. Later that night, everyone was off to bed, and Logan couldn't get the events out of his mind. He sat in his bed and stared at the letters he and Coco had sent back and forth to each other. Ever since Coco moved here, weird things started happening. A gurgling suddenly erupted in the room. Logan lifted his head and looked over at his door. There sitting by his welcome mat was a gurgloid, a brown one. He walked over to the gyroid and paid no attention to it, went into his pockets and stored it away in his closet. I'll take it to the retail shop tomorrow. I don't want such a creepy thing in my house. Without any more happening, he went to bed, but he forgot one detail. He didn't save. He woke up in the middle of the night and went to get a glass of water in his kitchen. The moon shone through the window, and in the window he saw his reflection. He choked on his water and started coughing. In the reflection he saw a gyroid's face. I should have warned you. Huh. Logan turned back and saw Coco standing behind him. She wasn't crying, but the blood still stained her face. What have you done? What happened to my face? Funny, right? I acted the same way, but everyone was scared of me. No, you all thought it was a costume. Coco, I'm sorry. I didn't know. How did this happen to us? Suddenly an ostrich appeared next to Logan. Made the same mistake we did. You didn't save. Now we'll all remain gyroids, symbols of... Coco moved closer to Logan and whispered in his ear. Death. Days passed since the incident. No one knows what happened to Logan or Coco. All that was found was blood stains in Logan's house by his kitchen sink. Both houses were abandoned, and no bodies were found, even after the incident. If any of the residents of home go into Coco or Logan's house, there's no furniture, but you can still hear the distant sound of a gurglide, almost as if the victims of this tragedy are crying out for you to help them, the victims who didn't save the game. Rossetti's there for a reason. Okay, I'm finished! That took forever. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this, especially you, Minshime. This took a lot of tries. I messed up a bit, but I still hope this is good. Well, bye!